Fear, the invisible chains that hold the world captive. It is the silent thief of dreams, the quiet whisper that keeps men and women in mediocrity, the unseen force that strangles ambition before it ever takes its first breath. But today is the day you bury fear. Listen to me carefully. You were not born with fear. Fear is a lie you have been taught, a parasite that has latched onto your mind, feeding on your hesitation, your doubts, and your insecurities. It is time to kill it. It is time to reclaim your power. Let me tell you a story. There was a man much like you. His name was Daniel Carter. Once he was a man who lived in the shadows of his own potential, a prisoner of fear. He knew he was meant for more, but something always held him back, the relentless, paralyzing grip of what if. What if I fail? What if I embarrass myself? What if I lose everything? He had spent years building walls of excuses, justifications, and rationalizations, all designed to protect himself from the pain of failure. But in doing so, he had also shielded himself from the possibility of success. He lived in a cage of his own making, and the saddest part, he held the key the entire time. Then one day everything changed. It was a cold winter morning when Daniel received a call that shattered his reality. His younger brother, Michael, the one person who had always believed in him, had passed away in a tragic accident. The weight of that moment crushed him. Guilt, sorrow, and regret crashed into him like a tidal wave. As he sat alone in the dark, staring at his trembling hands, a single thought struck him like lightning. Fear had stolen his life. And if he didn't kill it, it would steal what was left of his own. That night he made a decision. Not just a wish, not a hope, a decision. He stood up, walked to the mirror, and stared at the man he had allowed himself to become. No more, he whispered. No more waiting. No more excuses. No more fear. It wasn't an easy road. Fear didn't disappear overnight. It clawed at him, screamed at him, tried to drag him back into the darkness. But every time fear whispered, he roared louder. Every time doubt crept in, he crushed it with action. He quit the job he hated. He pursued the passion he had buried for years. He stood on stages and spoke with fire in his heart. He built something from nothing, because he had finally decided that fear would no longer own him. And the man who once cowered in the shadows, he became unstoppable. So let me ask you something. How long have you been waiting? How many dreams have you buried because fear told you it was impossible? How many times have you hesitated when you should have acted? Right now, at this very moment, you have a choice. You can stay where you are trapped, stuck, enslaved by fear. Or you can take back what has always been yours, because here's the truth. Fear is a coward. It only has power if you allow it. It feeds on your hesitation. But when you move, when you take action, when you step forward, despite the doubt, fear dies. Burn this into your mind. Fear hates action. It can only exist in the absence of movement. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep running? Or are you going to turn around and face it? Remember, fear is nothing more than a test. A test to see if you are worthy of the life you claim to desire. A test to see if you have the courage to step into your destiny. But the moment you refuse to back down, the moment you charge forward, something incredible happens. Fear dissolves, and you awaken the unstoppable force that has been sleeping inside you all along. Now choose. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must make a choice, not a casual decision, not a fleeting thought, but a defining choice. A moment where they either step forward and claim their destiny or retreat into the shadows of regret. Today that choice stands before you. Too many people approach their dreams with an escape plan, a back door, a safety net. They say they want greatness, but they cling to comfort. They whisper about success, but they keep one foot in mediocrity, afraid to burn the bridges that lead back to their old selves. But listen closely. As long as retreat is an option, you will never give everything you have. Greatness demands an all-in mentality. The people who change the world, who rise from nothing and build empires, who shatter limitations and redefine what is possible, they have one thing in common. They never give themselves an exit. Let me tell you about a man who embodied this principle. His name was Alexander Cain. For years, Alexander was like most people, comfortable in his discomfort. He had a stable job, a steady paycheck, and a life that was good enough. But deep down, he knew he was meant for more. There was a fire inside him, a vision so clear it haunted him, yet he never pursued it. Why? Because he always had a way out. If this doesn't work, I'll go back. If things get tough, I can always quit. I have time. He didn't realize that those words were killing him. that every time he whispered them, he gave fear another victory. Then one day everything changed. He was laid off, without warning, without preparation. The company he had spent years building his life around discarded him like an afterthought. He had nothing, no income, no security, no backup plan. For the first time in his forced to face the terrifying truth, he had wasted years playing it safe, and now there was no safety left. That night, Alexander sat alone in his apartment, staring at the walls that suddenly felt like a prison. His mind raced, panic clawing at him. Then a single thought emerged, clear and undeniable. I have nothing left to lose. And in that moment, something inside him shifted. For the first time, he had no choice but to go all in. He took what little money he had and invested in himself. He stopped hesitating. He burned every bridge that led back to his old life. Failure was no longer an option. It was succeed or die trying. And something remarkable happened. Within 6 months, he had built a business from nothing. Within a year, he was making more money than he ever had before. Within 2 years, he had surpassed every goal he once thought impossible. Why? Because when there was no escape, he had no choice but to rise, and that is the secret. Most people never reach their potential because they always have an exit strategy. They always have a plan B, and the moment things get difficult, the moment fear shows its face, they retreat. They run back to the safety of their old lives. But those who achieve greatness, they remove the option of retreat. They set their ships on fire. They take the leap and leave to look back. So let me ask you, what bridges are you afraid to burn? Is it the job that pays the bills but kills your spirit? Is it the relationship that keeps you comfortable but stagnant? Is it the version of yourself that clings to excuses instead of taking action? Understand this: the old you must die for the new you to be born. The weak, hesitant, fearful version of you cannot coexist with the powerful, unstoppable force you are meant to become. One must be sacrificed, and that sacrifice begins today. Look at your life. Identify the bridges that are holding you back, the escape routes that keep you from going all in, and then burn them. Because the moment you do, you will finally understand what it means to be truly free. There is a force inside you, a hunger, a fire. Felt it in the quiet moments when the world is still, in the depths of your soul where no one else can see. It is the whisper that tells you that you are meant for more, that your life has purpose, that you are capable of things far greater than your current reality. But here's the truth: that fire will die if you do not feed it. Dreams do not perish because they are impossible. They perish because people allow them to starve. They let fear smother them, let doubt poison them, let comfort seduce them into a slow and quiet death. Greatness does not belong to the lucky. It does not belong to the privileged, the chosen few, or those who simply wish for it. It belongs to those who refuse to stop, those who chase their ambition with an unrelenting, almost insane level of obsession, those who understand that the price of greatness is everything and they are willing to pay it. Let me tell you a story. There was a man named Elijah Stone. From the outside, he was nothing special. He was not born into wealth. He did not have extraordinary talent. He did not possess some hidden advantage that set him apart. What he did have was relentless ambition. At the age of 22, Elijah made a decision. He was going to build something, a legacy, a business, an empire. He didn't know exactly how, but he knew one thing: he would not stop until it was done. And so, while others slept, he worked. While others partied, he sacrificed. While others doubted, he bet on himself. Day after day, year after year, he poured everything into his dream. He failed. Again and again, he lost money, he lost friends, he lost sleep. He faced ridicule, rejection, and moments where the weight of it all nearly broke him. But he did not stop, because quitting was never an option. One night, after another brutal setback, a friend asked him, "Why don't you just let it go? You've given everything and it's still not working. Maybe it's time to accept that this isn't meant to be." Elijah looked him in the eye and said something that would define his life. "Because I am not meant to be ordinary." And he meant it. His obsession was not a burden, it was his fuel. He had burned his bridges long ago. There was no way back. There was only forward. And so he kept pushing. By the time he was 30, he had built a multi-million-dollar business from nothing. But more than that, he had become the person he always knew he could be, because that's the secret. Success is not something you achieve, it is something you become. The world belongs to those who refuse to stop. Those who get knocked down and get back up. Those who face doubt, pain, failure, and still move forward. Those who chase their dreams with such ruthless determination that nothing, not time, not hardship, not even failure itself can break them. You must understand something. The greatest enemy of ambition is not failure. It is not rejection. It is not even fear. The greatest enemy of ambition is comfort, because comfort whispers you've done enough. Comfort tells you it's okay to slow down. Comfort makes you believe that you have time. But time is the greatest lie of them all. You do not have time. Every second you hesitate is a second wasted. Every excuse you make is another step toward a life of regret. So here's my question to you. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for permission? No one will give it to you. Are you waiting for the perfect moment? It will never come. Are you waiting to feel ready? You never will. The only thing that matters is action. Ruthless, relentless, unstoppable action. Because here is the truth about those who achieve greatness. They are not more talented than you. They are not smarter than you. They do not have some divine advantage. They just refuse to quit. And if you want to join them, you must become obsessed, not interested, not trying, not hoping. Obsessed. Obsessed with progress. Obsessed with growth. Obsessed with becoming the person you were born to be. Because the alternative? The alternative is waking up one day, years from now, realizing that you wasted your potential, that you let fear win, that you allowed comfort to steal the life that was meant for you. And that, my friend, is a pain far worse than failure. So decide, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Feed the fire. Fuel the ambition. Chase your dream with everything you have. And when the world tells you to stop, you keep going.